Good afternoon slash evening, Seahawks fans. Hope you're finding a way to have a good Saturday despite the existential dread that we're feeling with this team right now. And obviously, starting Monday, I'm going to be back on my regular video grind as much as I can anyway, because, look, rain, wind, or shine, or snow, or hail, like the mailman, I feel obligated to pump out these videos for you guys and produce as much Seahawks content as I can, even if things are not going according to plan and even if we're dealing with things that we never imagined we'd have to deal with. But before we get back to the typical videos, I want to spend a little bit more time talking about the big picture stuff here, because the big picture for a lot of Seahawks fans has never been more in focus than it is right now. So I want to talk about this a little bit, and I'm going to ask you guys, my viewers, to let me know what you're thinking in the comments. This video is asking you guys a question, and I want to see how you guys feel about this. So, I have written out a scenario in this Google Doc, and I'm going to run through it. It's going to have 3 different levels to it, kind of. And I want to see what you guys think. And there's a fundamental question at the core of the scenarios I'm going to propose to you guys. And that is, as a fan, are you willing to root against your team? Or at the very least, are you willing to deprioritize winning games in service of something better coming later? And this is a debate that I see all the time within sports fandoms. I've seen it with Giants fans, especially for the past several years, where some Giants fans wanted the team to lose so they could get different players and different coaches. Other Giants fans felt like, well, if you think that way, you're not a true fan, and you should always root for your team to win. And there was that battle going on and on and on. I saw it with a lot of Giants YouTubers. So let me know what you think, and I'm going to present some scenarios. It's going to be kind of a 3-layered question, and I want to see what you guys think. So here it is. You are presented with a choice between 2 doors. Door number 1 is labeled Stay in the Fight, or you have door number 2, which is labeled Tank for Change. And you also get provided the following guarantees, and I'm going to go through those guarantees now. But once you get those guarantees, let me know in the comments which door you would pick. And stay tuned for the entire 3 layers of the question. So, pick your door. Okay, so door number 1, stay in the fight. I'll go through the guarantees if you pick this door. And let me know what you think of this door. So, door number 1. You go through this door, the Seahawks go 2-3 with Geno Smith beating the Steelers, beating the Jaguars. So Geno Smith does an okay job managing the boat. He keeps it afloat, and you're coming out of the Geno Smith era with 6 losses. So season not necessarily over. And then you're also guaranteed that Wilson returns at 100% for his game against Washington. So you're guaranteed that Wilson's going to be going full bore from the Washington game on for the rest of the season, unless he gets hurt again, which is statistically unlikely. So you would be, at that point, 4-6 with 7 games left. Also guaranteed in this scenario would be the defense improving by a noticeable amount. So maybe it's not a top 5 defense, maybe it's not even a top 8 defense, but it's a decent defense. It becomes something that is able to limit other teams' success on offense. We're not going to be 32nd in yards. We're not going to be in the bottom 10 in points. I think we're bottom 10 in points now. So the defense improves enough to where it's possible to imagine that they're good enough to win some games against better teams and help the team win. However, through this door, John Schneider, Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll's yes men, which include but are not limited to Ken Norton Jr. and Pete Carroll's children, all return for 2022. So that's door number 1. Door number 2, let's take a look here. Tank for Change. Seattle Seahawks go either 0-5 or 1-4 with Geno Smith, maybe beating the Jaguars. I cannot assume that we're going to lose to Jacksonville even if we're terrible, because Jacksonville is terrible as well. But we go either 0-5 or 1-4 with Gino. Maybe Gino plays terrible, maybe he plays fine, but we still lose, whatever. Okay, so the Seahawks in this scenario would be pretty much out of the playoff race when Wilson returns. You would have 7 losses, and it's too much to hope for at that point, I think. You would be, 3-7? It would be unrealistic to imagine you can make a playoff run at that point. Granted, there is an extra playoff spot available, but let's say you're basically out of it. Team looks like a bottom 5 team and mostly gets blown out. So the defense doesn't get better. The offense can't really make any... I mean, maybe they play okay, but not enough to actually win games. And if you go through this door, you are guaranteed that John Schneider, Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll's yes men are gone in 2022. So that is door number 2. And that's all the guarantees that I'm giving you right here. So with the information on your screen, what door are you going to walk through? That's part 1. Let's go to part 2. And part 2 depends on what you answered in part 1. So if you took door number 1 up above, would you change your mind if I changed the offer on door number 2? Okay, so let's change the door number 2 offer. Tank for change. So, same stuff. 0-5 or 1-4 with Gino. Out of the playoff race when Wilson gets back. Team looks terrible. Team is getting blown out mostly. Team looks like they may have even quit. Schneider, Carroll's yes men all gone for 2022. And on top of it, I'll sweeten the offer a little bit. What if I could guarantee the Seahawks hired a sexy head coach candidate? And when I say sexy, I mean somebody that you personally would get excited for. And for every person, it's different. Some people like Eric Bieniemy. Some people like Lincoln Riley. Some people like Joe Brady. Some people like Jim Harbaugh, which pass. Some people like Brian DeBole. Some people like Greg Roman. Whoever it is that whoever it is that would excite you. If I could guarantee you a sexy head coach candidate that would get you excited for the future of this team, would you change your mind? Okay, so let's say you are currently going through door number 2. If you're taking door number 2 right now, so if you either change to door number 2 or you answered door number 2 above, would you change your mind if I changed the door number 1 offer to? Same thing, except Geno Smith goes 3-2, beating Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Jacksonville. Let's say he wins 3 in a row and then loses the next 2 against Green Bay and Arizona. On top of that, Wilson returns, and I would guarantee that he beats Washington, Frisco, and Houston. So you would be on a 6-2 run after starting 2-3. You would then be 8-5. You would have a great shot at the playoffs at that point. With 4 games left, it's not guaranteed because you still have to play the Rams, you still have to play the Cardinals, but you would be in the fight, most definitely in the fight. It would be far from over. If I could guarantee you get to that Houston game or past that Houston game at 8-5. And the defense improves significantly, so maybe the defense becomes like top 10-ish. And Schneider, Pete, and Pete's yes men return for 2022. If I sweeten the offer to that, would you then change to door number 1? And I know this is getting a little convoluted here, but I think you guys can handle this. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to get at here. So basically, I'm guaranteeing you a great shot at a playoff spot and improvement on defense, but you're guaranteed to get the same crew back for 2022. Okay, final part, and we're almost done. We're almost at the bottom of this 3-layer cake. So, let's go down to sweetening the offers one more time. If you are currently on door number 2, if you would currently go through door number 2, would you change your mind if the offer changed to this? The Seattle Seahawks go 3-2 with Geno Smith, beating Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Jacksonville, same. But what if I guaranteed that Wilson leads the Seahawks to the playoffs when he comes back? What if I guaranteed that he makes the wild card? What if I told you that if you went through door number 1, you were guaranteed to make the playoffs as the Seahawks? Would that change your mind? And then everything else is the same. The defense improves a lot, and Schneider, Carroll's yes men all come back for 2022. Is this changing your mind? And finally, if you are currently on door number 1, what if I sweetened the door number 2 offer one more time? What if I took that door number 2 offer and stays the same in terms of future performance? Geno goes 0-5 or 1-4. Seahawks out of the playoff race when Wilson returns, so it's a lost season. Team looks like a bottom 5 team and mostly gets blown out. Again, it looks like they're quitting on their coach. It looks like they're not invested or inspired, and they just look like a crap team. And Schneider, Carroll's yes men, all gone for 2022, so you clean house. You hire a sexy head coach candidate, Bieniemy, Riley, Joe Brady, Brian DeBoll, whoever it is you like. And final addition to the offer, you get your choice of a Wilson-related outcome. You can either keep Wilson or trade him for a bunch of picks. I don't know where everybody is with the Wilson stuff right now. I think most people would want to keep him, but I know some people would prefer to trade him and just start over. So if you're one of those people, I want you to be included as well. So basically, in this scenario, you're blowing it up. You have a crap season. By the way, if you go through door number 2, no matter what, the Jets are going to get a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 pick. The Jets are going to get a good pick, so that's another element you have to roll into that. But in this scenario, you blow it up, and you can hire a sexy head coaching candidate, and you can decide personally whether or not you want to keep Wilson or move on from Wilson. And if you move on from Wilson, you get picks back. And at that point, I don't guarantee anything else. I don't guarantee the guy you hire is going to be good. I don't guarantee that you're going to trade or keep Metcalf. I don't guarantee trading or keeping Adams. I don't guarantee any of that, but I can guarantee you that much. Which door are you taking at this point? Now, I could keep going on and on and on, but at the end of the day, there's a question at the core of this, of these scenarios. Is it okay to root for your team to lose, or at the very least, not care if they win if you think there are bigger things at stake? And I have said many times in recent streams that as fans, if we are not happy with the direction of this organization, then we probably should not go to games, not buy merchandise, not go to the stadium, not buy food. Do these things that impact the Seahawks' pocketbooks. That's really the only way. And I have said before that if you decide you're not going to go to games, if you decide you're not going to buy Seahawks merchandise, I don't consider you to be a bad fan at all. I think that you're actually being a very smart fan if you decide to do things like that because you're not happy with the direction of the team. But how far were you willing to go? Because personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with rooting for bad results if you think that there is some long-term gain to get from it. I think it is completely understandable to say, you know what, making the playoffs this year, it would be cool, but if we could lose instead and guarantee ourselves a fresh start with new coaches and new managers, then I don't think that makes you a bad fan. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think it makes you a bad fan if you just want to see the team win. I completely understand that mentality. So let me know what you think. Which doors are you taking in these layers of scenarios? Or is it a much simpler thing for you? Are you going to root for the team to win no matter what? Or are you going to root for the team to lose and blow it up no matter what? Let me know what you think down below. I'm interested to see how people feel about this. This is a question to my viewers, and I want to see how you guys feel. Would you take your ass whooping right now if it guaranteed that you would be able to reset next year? Or would you rather go out swinging with a chance to make the playoffs this year? See you guys later. Go Hawks. Streams later. But yeah, I'm interested. Let me know what you think.